Hey Matt. Yeah, I think the fundamental points that you brought up about, an experiential path to understanding something and a more text-based exploration and a literal approach to these thoughts. I think these are the cornerstones that are applied to any framework, whether it be a theological standpoint or a philosophical standpoint. There are different ways to explore and extract meaning. One is predicated in the experiential standpoint. Like you talk, I'm very familiar. I've taken philosophy courses where I've studied Rumi's work, and we looked at a more textual approach with the Haditha, in the Quran, and then we actually looked at the mysticism, those who claim to have truly experienced God in a personal respect without the institutions of control that have manipulated people and capitalized off of people's susceptibility to being coerced into following specific guidelines rather than seeking out that which is spoke of in the text for themselves. And I think that really captures humanity, what humanity does in all aspects of life. There's ways that we can understand something by having others tell us how to pursue something or what routes we should take to doing this, or instruction manuals, templates. Or we can take the personal journey through experiencing it, and I think it's a powerful form to communicate the experienced, that which we experience, to others, because when we have experienced these things and other people can relate to it outside of the controlled textual offerings that certain frameworks offer, I believe it empowers the individual, and it certainly empowers the individual experiencing it, because they don't believe that they have to have a medium communicating between them and God. It's a direct relationship, and I think there's a lot of parallels into how I pursue the higher manifestation. For others, they might call this consciousness God, and that's a major factor in my family. My family, literally interprets the Bible in its entirety. Some more than others, but to generalize, they accept it at literal face value for, what they perceive it to be. And anything outside of this, that, whether it be an experiential mode of seeking out this knowledge, or it be any other framework, such as, they believe in Christianity, if it's philosophizing on life, if it's pursuing it through Islam, they brush it aside and they believe it conflicts with their meaning. Whereas if you go an experimental route, not an experiential route, and truly experience it the self, it doesn't really matter what framework you identify with, whether it be in any mysticism or any experiential route. To understand these means, it really doesn't matter. So, taking that out and understanding outside of that for a minute, and understanding the purpose of us, I believe it's to explore these thoughts and to initiate the we consciousness, so that it's realized in a global context. And adopting that same philosophy, we have to experience it ourselves. And once we communicate that there needs to be no medium to allow you to connect with that end. I think that empowers the individual, that they can see that another has truly experienced this without the medium, and and without anyone telling you exactly how to go about it. It's more of a personal relationship, but as more people come to experience this, we can reference these frames in a global context, and they take on heightened meanings and new meanings, and our awareness is heightened from these experiences. So it's about experiencing the feelings and the propulsions that result from these experiences. And once we can internalize this and communicate, it might not seem so abstract anymore, and it might seem more intimate as we communicate the channels that we are implementing in our life, in our existence. So yeah, I think that's at the core of a lot of frameworks, the experiential approach, as opposed to the institutional, manipulated channels of follow this type of indoctrination where they've been coerced. That's why I believe the Buddha spoke, when he spoke on enlightenment, he gave a negative, or he said it's not suffering, because if you attribute a label to it, then it's able to be manipulated, and people are going to take it out of a context when it's really truly just about experiencing it. So you can have a deeper sense of understanding and fulfillment in a personal sense. So you become familiar with these ideas and the feelings beyond anything that anyone else is telling you. So there arises an inner truth that is undeniable, just like what you said, when you cannot deny a truth. When someone speaks a truth that's undeniable, but you have to be ready to hear. I believe that humanity is so indoctrinated in this, the commercialism, every aspect, the power, the control. People are so indoctrinated that they're not able to branch out of the daily restrictions that plague us or that plague humanity. So they're locked within their belief sets, and these are the things that we spoke on that will collapse. So they're going to try to clutch them tighter and defend them, and there's going to cause more disconnect between one another. That's why there must be that personal exploration. And the last thing I want to touch on is when you said that we're conscious bodies trying to understand the universe because the universe is trying to understand itself. Very profound realization, one I've had myself, and I'm sure those who are watching these dialogues have had as well. That's it. The evolutionary process, the life cycle, the cycles of existence, the universe has created a mode of journeyers throughout this time. It's manifest wanderers that can truly experience, taste, touch, believe, existentialize. We can utilize all these means. So the universe has adapted and communicated through channels of expansion and given birth to the conscious bodies who are able to explore the universe. And I just think that's phenomenal, and that's so profound that it's this self-generating entity, this organism, this living organism, able to understand itself through creating the means to be able to do so. So yeah, I believe this is growth, and these conversations are beneficial, and I believe that, as you said, we're already realized. I like that. We're already realized, but there's a process, and this is just a continuation of that process. And yeah, I look forward to continuing it.